Hi, so welcome to episode 4. In today's video, we are going to be talking about manipulation. So my husband, he deployed and he went to Germany. He was there for about 3 weeks. He was really bad with money. He did not care whatsoever about, the finances back at home. He was just flying through money like nothing. So I had to open up a separate account just so my son and I had money at home so we could pay all the bills. And then I had to give him an allowance, which was an amount agreed upon for him to spend. The Army was supposed to provide a $250 separation pay. So him and I agreed that, that would be his budget. With that being said, he's there for 3 weeks and he tells me that he's lost so much weight that he's not eating and the Army's not feeding him right, and he's lost, I think he said something like 15 or 20 pounds. And I mean, he's sending me these pictures of his face all slimmed out, and his face is slim, and he's saying like his pants are too big and he's just really thin, right? And I feel bad. And so I send him more money, or I transfer him money and tell him, go feed yourself, because they have like Pizza Hut, and they have like Chinese restaurants, and they have all these restaurants, Subway, there where he's staying, Hohenfels, on post in Hohenfels, Germany. So I'm transferring him money so he can eat like a king like everybody else, So his mother passes away, and he gets an emergency flight home to Michigan before April of 2022. And I see him in person. He actually didn't lose any weight. As a matter of fact, he stepped on the scale at his father's house and he gained a few pounds. I was actually surprised. He was editing his photos that he was sending me, and slimming his face out, to make me feel bad for him. And he was posting things on Facebook to make other people feel bad. And I mean, he was having people cash app and money too. It was sick. So manipulation. Per Weapon D, it says manipulation is in a way everyone can manipulate others to get what they want. But manipulation is defined as any attempt to sway someone's emotions to get them to act or feel a certain way. Manipulators have common tricks they'll use to make you feel irrational and more likely to give into their requests. Manipulative people often use common manipulation tactics and behaviors to get what they want. Here's what to look for. Guilt tripping. Guilt tripping is when someone tries to make you feel responsible or guilty of your actions and decisions. Lying. People who manipulate with manipulative tendencies often lie to control or coerce others, as well as avoid blame or consequences for their actions. Now, if you look at my other videos and you see the videos and proofs and listen to audio recordings that I posted, who does it sound like? Flattery. It can be hard to tell the difference between a compliment and flattery. A compliment is given to sincerely point out something positive with no expectation or gain, but flattery is often used disingenuously as a tool to gain emotional leverage. With flattery, there's often an expectation of getting something in return. Projection. Now, I'm often telling my husband to quit projecting his emotions on me. Projection happens when one claims an emotion they're feeling, such as jealousy, is actually being experienced by someone else. For example, a person with manipulative tendency. Oh no, I was right. For example, a person with manipulative tendencies might cause tension and drama, but blame someone else for creating that energy. Now, if you go back to my other videos, what is he doing? He blames me for what he is doing. Moving the goalposts. Sometimes no matter how much you show up for someone who manipulates, they will change their expectations at the last minute to keep you constantly running towards their goalposts. Someone who moves the goalposts can set you up for frustration and exhaustion. I do everything for him. I do everything for my husband because there's a lot of things that he cannot do. And it's never been good enough. I just can't, and I can't anymore. Triangulation. Triangulation can take many forms, but often happens when a third person is brought into your communication. Instead of keeping the issue between the two people it impacts. For example, a manipulative person might involve your mother in a disagreement to take their side against you. Now all of a sudden you're disagreeing with two people and the odds are not in your favor. Triangulation often keeps manipulative people from having to take responsibility and may protect them from feeling like they've lost an argument. Love bombing. This is what got me in the beginning, and this is what gets me on the in-betweens when he's not being hostile. And this is also what contributes to trauma bonding. Love bombing. Love bombing is manipulation through excessive attention, often showering you inappropriately with gifts, except I don't get gifts, ever. I never get gifts. Compliments, affection, and time. These things may be wonderful, which can be confusing. However, love bombing is when this feels enrapturing, takes all your attention, and is excessive. It might feel great at first, but it usually leaves you isolated and makes you lose sight of who you are. Once you're swept away, this attention might stop and will leave you feeling like you're seeking it out or chasing it down again. The 4 stages of manipulation. While manipulative tendencies are often subtle and sometimes undetectable, there are 4 stages of manipulation. There's flattery, which we talked about. The first stage is when the person who manipulates puts on a facade of being kind, caring, and helpful. What did my first video talk about? How amazing he was. They may act like they want to help you with anything you need, but in reality, they're just trying to get what they want from you. Isolation. That is what I just recently talked about, and that's when we moved down to Georgia. This is when the person who manipulates may start to isolate you from friends and family. They may try to convince you that your loved ones don't understand you or want to control you. The goal is usually to separate you from people who might spot the manipulation. Devaluing and gaslighting. During the 3rd stage, someone who manipulates may try to make you feel guilty or confused. They might start telling you that you're ungrateful and that you're making them unhappy. I don't know how many times Billy's told me that I make him unhappy. I make him unhappy because he's angry. That's something I did. I was always to blame for his anger. He actually told me that I'm at the epicenter of his explosive anger. The purpose of this stage is to make you doubt yourself, your instincts, and your decisions. It can be very difficult to break free from the manipulator's control at this stage. Fear or violence. He used this right off the bat as soon as he had me isolated. The 4th and final stage is when the person who manipulates may begin to threaten you. They may threaten to leave you. Many a times he has done this. Hurt you or hurt themselves. He threatens suicide left and right as a way to keep you under their control with fear. It can be very difficult to break free from someone who is using threats as a form of manipulation. So, with the above being said, one of the scariest things about, manipulators is that not only are they manipulating you, but they're manipulating everybody around you, depending on how good they are. this guy is good. And he's in the Army. I at first didn't know I had resources. And then I found resources. There's something called the Family Advocacy Program. So before he came home from Germany, I went and I filed a report with them because I wanted there to be, you know, a report. So, you know, in case something happened when he got home, they would know. The Family Advocacy Program, from what I read at that time, is meant to intervene in family violence, and they're supposed to help prevent, you know, violence from happening. And in the military, you know, financial abuse, emotional abuse, the outbursts, that's all against, you know, Army regulation. In the state of Georgia, it is punishable by law and is a felony to scream in the presence of children. It's punishable by law to throw things and act the way he does in the presence of children. That is actually called cruelty to children. So I filed this report with FAP, and you know, nothing really came of it. My first family advocacy advocate victim blamed me. He's like, well, you shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have done that. I was like, what did I do? So when I started seeing my FAP counselor, she's like, oh, I don't like that. He victim blames you hard. But FAP doesn't really, in my opinion, doesn't work, because unless my husband and I, unless we're going together, it's he said, she said. I had separate appointments from him. And so it was just a lot of like venting, I guess, and didn't really help. I know she told me that the incident determination, also known as the IDC committee, got involved, and they did determine that that emotional, you know, that I was emotionally abused, and that my son had been emotionally abused, but it was left up to my husband's chain of command to intervene. And they only determined, his chain of command only determined that he needed 1 3-hour session of combined stress and anger management online. They emailed my husband after he completed that one course, and they told my husband that, you know, that 1 3-hour session, they only scratched the surface of everything that he has going on, that he would need more. But because 3 hours was all that was required, my husband didn't opt for more. My husband either has his chain of command so manipulated that they just don't believe me, or they're choosing to look the other way. I originally, you know, kept blaming it on my husband's mental health. And I guess this is where like the trauma bonding comes in. Trauma bonding is, well, let me read you what trauma bonding is. I didn't plan on going into it in this video, but I guess. A trauma bond is a connection between an abusive person and the individual they abuse. It typically occurs when the abused person begins to develop sympathy or affection for the abuser. I did feel bad because, you know, I'm like, he can't help it. You know, it's his mental health. He's not getting the mental health that he needs. And I became like this advocate for his mental health. It says, when someone's main source of support is also their abuser, a trauma bond can develop. An abused person may turn to the abusive person for comfort when they are hurt, even if the other person was the one who caused it. Dependence. A person may develop a trauma bond because they rely on the abusive person to fulfill their emotional needs. So it says cycle of abuse. Some abusive relationships follow a pattern of abuse, then remorse. After causing harm, an abusive person may promise to change. Some may be especially kind or romantic to make up for their behavior. This gives the abused person hope that their suffering will end, and at the end, they will one day receive the love or connection that that perpetrator has promised. The person experiencing the abuse may see suffering as a price to pay for kindness. Remorseful behavior may also cause the abused person to feel grateful, particularly if they have become accustomed to poor treatment. This reinforces the bond. A trauma bond develops under specific conditions. A person must perceive a real threat of danger from their abuser, experience harsh treatment with small periods of kindness, be isolated from other people, believe they cannot escape, perceive a real threat of danger from their abuser. Not only am I scared of my husband, but he has the army backing him, and that is terrifying. Experience harsh treatment with small periods of kindness. You've already seen just a small glimpse of my videos. There are in-betweens where he's so kind and thoughtful, and where he pretends to be thoughtful, but the second things don't go smooth for him, boom, explosion. He doesn't care anymore. Be isolated from other people. Yeah, I'm away from everybody. And now that I'm trying to find help, I'm even more isolated. I can't go to his chain of command for help because they believe him. Right now, current situation, he's moved out. He's been gone for a month. He cut me off from access to his funds. I'm not currently working. I'm trying to find a job, but I tried to apply for state aid from, food stamps so I could feed the kids. And the lady called me yesterday on March 16th, 2023 to go over the application, and she was confused as to how I can live on post and be separated. I said my husband cut me off of access to funds, and she wanted the first sergeant's number, so I gave her first sergeant's number. She called me back, and she said, well, according to him, your husband's giving you $300 a month and you have access to the account. I said, no, I don't have access to the account. I said, he changes pin back. I said, but I can't transfer funds, and he's not giving me money, and he's not. And so she's like, I'll call you back. So she calls back, and she had now spoken with the first sergeant again and my husband, and they tell her that I do have access to his account, and he's giving me $300 a month. And my husband also tells her that I'm making $1,000 a month babysitting, which is not accurate. I watched my neighbor's kids for a month. She sent me money to feed them and take them to activities, and I set that money aside for those children. I didn't profit off of watching the children. And what money was left over was given back to her 2 days ago when she got home. As far as my husband giving me $300, it didn't happen until this evening. He had his chief section send me $300, but this was after the phone call yesterday. But $300 a month. But the thing is, when I was talking to her, I told her, I said, I can call the bank Because what he did to the joint account, I don't know, but I can't transfer money into it. His other account that he has is his account. I can't access it. I don't have a card for it. I can't view it online. I can only call and use automated system using his information, and I can listen to the amount that's in the bank account, but I can't do any transactions. I can't transfer it. I can't do anything with it. Before, what I would have to do, before he put this block or whatever on the account, I would do the same thing. I would call and use the automated thing, and then I would have to transfer funds from that account into the joint checking, and then the joint checking is what he would use for his personal spending, and then I would take that money and disperse it into our grocery fund, and then I disperse the rest of it into our bill pay fund. But now when I call, and I have it recorded and I'll put on this video, I can't transfer funds out of there. So the lady tells me that it's not her problem, that I can't access the money. The fact that I can call and hear the amount means that I have income in the house. And then she also asked me about child support, and I said, yeah, I receive child support. She asked me how much, and I told her, and I said I'm able to pay my phone bill with that. I'm able to pay my car insurance with that, gas for the car, because I do have to drive my son to and from school. I do have to get my children to and from the doctors, myself to and from the doctors. So she's like, because of my husband's income that I don't have in this household, and based off of what his first sergeant and my husband said, they denied me food benefits, and she was yelling at me. All I want to do, feed my kids, be able to have the money for the co-pays for my medications, my children's medications, and my husband and his chain of command is trying to deprive us of this. I didn't do anything to deserve it, but also this is probably one of the scariest situations I have ever been in. Hi, Bonnie. You be big girl. And I don't know what to do. My husband's phone. Oh, that's the other thing she told me too. She told me that I disconnected my husband's phone, and I told her I didn't. I did briefly on March 14th, but that was after 5 days of inactivity. No outgoing text messages, no phone calls, no anything. There was some incoming messages. Sorry. There was some incoming messages. I had messaged him a few times to other numbers, but no messages outgoing. And then our billing cycle was 15 days in, and he only had 3 phone calls on there. So none that belonged to work either. So no work-related calls, no text messages in 5 days. And it's leading me to believe now at this point that my husband has a new phone and phone number, and his chain of command knows about it, and they obviously have the number because they have to communicate. So yeah, at the 14th around midnight, I actually have it time stamped. I have the screenshot when I did it. I disconnected it. I reported it lost and stolen because I can't afford to pay it. I have to pay off $500 over the course of 12 months off of whatchamacall, for a phone that he had, the Galaxy S21 Plus, the Ultra. He smashed that in Germany. Yeah, a year ago, and I have to pay that off. But I'm the one that got cut off from funds. He's not going to give me money for that. So that's $50 extra on my bill on top of his line that I have to pay with my child support and his extra $300 a month. But I also have to feed my dogs, and I also have to feed my children, and I also have to put gas in the car and get an oil change and buy hygienes and cleaning products and necessities, and you know, but none of that matters to the Army. The family doesn't matter to the Army. It apparently doesn't matter to the state either. It doesn't matter to the Department of Health and Human Services, because apparently $900 a month for 3 people with bills and mouths to feed is over budget, and they don't care that you can't access funds and that the person with the funds doesn't live in the house or talk to you. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And if I don't continue making these videos and I don't continue reaching out to my family and my friends, I could disappear and nobody would even know, nor would anybody around here would really care, would they? And I think that's the most scariest part about all of this. You try to have a voice, they try to shut you up, right? Snuff you out, make you go away. They're gonna do it one way or another. Mark my words.
Welcome to Navy Federal Credit Union. To look up your account, please say or enter your access number or full Social Security number. Thank you. For your security, say or enter your 4-digit debit card PIN or your telephone password. Thanks. Main menu. What type of account are you calling about? You can say checking, savings, credit card. I found 2 checking accounts. For your account ending in 5502, say the first one. Or for the one ending in 0646, say the second one. To hear your choices again, checking menu. Your available balance is $884.43. Which are you calling about? Balance details, recent transactions, fraud or unauthorized transactions, deposits, or say it's something else. Here are your deposits. A deposit of $1,129.49, posted on March 13th. A deposit of $5, posted on March 9th. A deposit of $14.22, posted on March 8th. And a deposit of $1,669.45, posted on February 27th. Those are all of the recent or pending deposits. If you don't need additional information, you can hang up at any time. Otherwise, say, repeat that, dispute, or different transaction. You can also say main menu. I didn't catch that. Say repeat that or press 1, dispute or press 2, different transaction or press 3, or main menu or press 7. If you're finished, main menu. What type of account are you calling about? You can say checking, savings, credit card, mortgage. For your account ending in 550, checking menu. Which are you calling about? Balance details, recent transactions, fraud or unauthorized transactions, deposits, or say it's something else. You can say debit card, Zelle application, wire transfer, or to transfer money between accounts, say transfer money. You can also say it's something. To transfer funds from this account, say transfer from. To transfer funds, I see that you have a Navy Federal checking account ending in 5502. Do you want to transfer funds to this account? How much do you want to transfer? To confirm, you'd like to transfer $1 from your Navy Federal checking account ending in 0646 to your checking account ending in 5502. If that's correct, say, I confirm, or press 1. To make changes, say, I'm sorry, but your transaction could not be completed. Please hold for the next available member service representative.